go, second Manassas Trail. We're at the beginning. As usual, there's the stone house. We're going to hook a right, and I know I said in the last video on the first Manassas Trail that one hill was the steepest one, but this one's probably actually a lot worse. Today, 79 degrees, a nice breeze, you can probably hear. That was my cardio for the day. Fence way over yonder. Let's go. There's kids that are jumping on top of those bales of hay. So all these fields get mowed pretty regularly. It's not an unusual sight to see these big bales of hay everywhere. I always wonder what they do with them. I'm assuming they're sold to local farms or something. The bale of hay only costs us like $3 or $5 or something. So we're still heading towards the entrance to the second Manassas Trail. Which has people who may stop by here in my videos and quickly notice something of a recurring activity for me. Cool thing about today, I'm playing with a new toy. I got a gimbal for my phone. Yeah, look, there's kids jumping on the hay. With an inattentive mother. by. But yeah, I got a gimbal for my phone, so it's a little less shaky. So this is kind of an experiment. So far it looks pretty good, I think. Someday maybe I'll upgrade to something a little bit more professional, but for right now, smartphone will suffice. Check back in later. Let's go. So right up ahead there's a small parking lot, and then the entrance to the second Manassas Trail is actually right across the street. And like I've said in a previous video, I think a lot of people don't realize it's back there. It's not very obvious. There's a sign that just sort of points at the road, and I imagine there's a lot of people that sort of walk over to it and just sort of wonder what they're supposed to do, and you'll see that in just a moment. And as for why I don't park in this parking lot, even though it's right by the entrance, because I don't want to do that big giant hill at the end of the hike. I'd rather do it at the beginning of the hike. I am not a super physically fit guy yet. Maybe someday. So I prefer to get it out of the way right at the beginning. So here's the sign right here for the second Manassas Trail. As you can see, it points right over to this busy road, which is going to be fun to cross. And I'm going to cut back to after we cross it. See you soon. All right, cross the road. This trail is tucked back here. And it is unlikely that we will run into too many other people from this point for quite a while. At least until we get to one of the other parking lots. Very unusual to see other hikers out here. Although you will see the occasional horse enthusiast. And you can actually ran into a couple of them. You see them in my first video. If you can stand the quality of it. It's a Monday evening, about 4:45. I would have liked to have gotten here sooner, but the road that leads down to where I park is backed up for about a mile or so. It's a single lane road, and it comes down to a very busy traffic light. So you gotta wait. That's okay, we got plenty of time. I don't think sun sets until about 7:30. And even then, I don't mind walking in the dark. Hey, there's somebody up there, up ahead. Northern Virginia, where it takes 40 minutes to get anywhere, even just a few miles. of hay in the distance there. You got the round ones, and there's a big pile of the square ones. Profound, I know. So that guy I just saw stopped and chatted with me for a minute. I didn't want to bug him about getting him on video or anything. But he's here researching the battlefields. He had a relative that fought in the Civil War and apparently has a pretty extensive collection of Civil War letters and other memorabilia. And he said he was starting up a blog. I don't think he's done anything yet. I didn't ask him for any additional information, but it's pretty normal to run into people who are here for educational purposes. This is a very historical site. I will be the first to admit I am not a Civil War buff. I love history, but the Civil War has never really been something I've spent a lot of time on. I mean, I know obviously the general outline of events, but as for, individual battles and notable people, I have no idea. Glory is a great movie, though. Everyone should go watch Glory. Denzel Washington, Matthew Broderick. It'll make you a Civil War expert for like a few minutes while you look up stuff on Wikipedia afterwards. So we're coming up on what I sort of consider to be the end of the first leg of this trail. That being the second Manassas Trail. It's a small parking lot, and it's where the entrance to the unfinished railroad trail is, which I hiked on my last video. And that was a lot of fun. I'm not going to do that today. It's a little late. I mean, I'm sure I can make it back in time, but... Ooh. Almost ran into this spider right there. Let's give him a wide berth. So on the right is the entrance to the unfinished railroad trail. Very cool trail. If you follow it to the end, it takes you to a old church. Suddenly, I want to say Methodist church. I'm probably still screwing that up, but I'm pretty sure it's Methodist. And there's a big cemetery there. And I'm gonna film that in a few weeks when we're getting a little deeper into October. One of several road crossings here, but there's really only one other road crossing that's kind of nasty. I never really look forward to that one. But the other two these are pretty sleepy roads. I don't think a whole lot of people live down this way. All right, so we're gonna cross this bridge go through some woods, and we're gonna walk by the witness tree that I showed in my first video, I think. Maybe it was the second video. I can't keep them straight. Let's go. Bugs are fierce today. One of the many monuments in the park. We're gonna go take a very quick look. We'll look at several of the monuments a lot closer in a later video. For now, I'm just trying to hike through. In memory of the Patriots who fell at Groveton, August 28th, 29th, and 30th, 1862. That's really sad. Here we are coming up on the other road crossing. Again, it's a real sleepy road. You don't see too many cars go by. I actually don't even know what's up and down a couple of these roads. So, anyone coming to this channel to check out any of these videos, and not so much now, September 2020, but a little further down the road, it's going to be a lot of videos of this place, this park. And the reason why that is, there are a few reasons. So this is Manassas, Virginia, Northern Virginia. And there are a lot of good parks to go hiking around here, or take an evening walk or whatever. My problem is, most of them have an entry fee to get in. So, like if you drive down to Prince William Forest Park, I mean, that's like $25 to get in. You can buy an annual pass for $35 though, which is kind of a steal. But that's also kind of far from where I live, and especially this time of year, and then, you know, going forward, it gets darker a lot earlier, and these parks all close ostensibly at dusk. Although, I mean, if you're stuck out in the dark, still walking, you're still able to leave the parking lots once you get back to your car. I would hope, anyway. Or like Leesylvania Park, there's an entry fee. Bull Run Regional Park is actually free to get in for Fairfax County residents, but that park, that's more of a camping area. We're actually camping there for Halloween weekend, and I'm going to try to film as much of that as I can. That should be a fun series of videos or video. But Battlefield Park, really you get the most bang for your buck here. It's free to get in. There's like 40 miles of trails. This particular trail, the second Manassas Trail, which you're going to see a lot. It's going to, probably 70% of my videos is just going to be this trail, and anything I see interesting on it it's my favorite trail. It's the perfect length. It's about 6.5 miles long. The terrain is pretty even, but there's a few good areas. You get a little bit of cardio. I mean, you can just knock it out within a couple of hours on a weeknight after work, you know what I mean? And I just love this place. And the second Manassas Trail is not super busy, although I've actually seen a few people tonight. So there's a good sense of solitude. You know, and it's Northern Virginia. You're always going to be near a road somewhere, but the road noise on this trail I find to be pretty minimal, especially in certain areas. So those are just a few reasons why. I'm sure I'll expand on that in later videos and repeat myself, but this is my park. This is my trail. I love this place. Here it is. The dreaded road crossing. The road crossing. This road sucks to cross. Sometimes you get someone nice who will slow down and let you go, but usually not. There's a historical house over there. I don't remember the details. We'll take a closer look at it in a later video, maybe the Halloween video, just because I think it's a really cool haunted house, especially the house behind it, which I don't think is the historical one, but it's like super sinister, and I hope to show that off later. Like, it's the kind of house where you could imagine a group of kids would have to fight some kind of shape-shifting demon of some sort. It kind of gives that vibe, you know? And there's also a weird little cemetery back there. It's like I don't even know how to describe it. I looked it up. It's like a place where you can be buried for like a bargain. It's like a bargain cemetery if you're of limited means. So there's not like a whole lot of headstones or anything. And I think services there are quite cheap. Alright, well, let's try to cross this thing. It's a very violent picture. There's a lot of stuff in this park that I wonder about sometimes. It's very... There are some parts, I think some of the older parts, that seem to lean kind of more heavily towards showing the Confederacy in a good light. And I'm not trying to start any controversy here. And I do recognize that the first and second battles of Manassas were, I think I'm getting this right, I believe they were considered to be Confederate victories. And I mean, I don't know a whole lot about the Civil War, so I don't know what the deal is with any kind of fair and equal representation here for the Union forces. I'm assuming there is. I mean, these are the New York monuments. And obviously New York was... There we go. New York was part of the Union. 10th New York Voluntary Infantry. Erected by the state of New York to commemorate the patriotic services of the 10th Regiment New York Volunteers. National Zouaves? I don't know what that says. Mustered into the U.S. service April 27th, 1861. Reorganized as a battalion April 27th, 1863. Participated in 23 battles and campaigns, including the surrender of the Confederate Army at Appomattox, Virginia, April 9th, 1865. Here, August 30th, 1862, the regiment assisted in resisting the assault of a superior force of the enemy, losing nearly a third of its number. 1 officer and 30 men were killed or mortally wounded. Braver men than those who fought and fell that day could not be found. Report of Colonel G.K. Warren, something brigade. Cool. And up there's a seal, and it says Excelsior at the bottom. Carry on, shall we? And I'm sorry, anyone watching this. I'm getting used to using this thing. It's a learning curve. Let's go. Unfortunately, the bench I usually like to take a final break before the end is currently in use. This effectively marks the end of the second Manassas Trail. It's an area called Chin Ridge. There's still about 1.5 miles left, but there's really nothing interesting. It's a long paved path and some woods, and then just a quick road crossing, and then back at the car. It's very nice this evening. You can feel autumn creeping in. Just real subtle. Still pretty warm. Alright, and I will see you next time. Catch you later.